Usually you are. That was a compliment, backhanded. Like, what's the dirt? Come on. I can tell. That's why I asked you the question.
We don't open our windows except on the back deck anyway. Air conditioning. We don't usually open the windows. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the
Just saying.
Delaware Public Service Commission meeting of July 12th, 2023, otherwise known as the Glenn Moore Tribute Day. Yay, Glenn. As you can see, Glenn is trying to do a transition into retirement. He's got a nice relaxed outfit on today. You have socks on?
Yes, I do.
Okay, just checking.
Commissioner Drexler already commented on it.
Really? Oh, really? Gosh. Okay, so if we could, the reading of the meeting minutes of June 7th, 2023. Does anyone have any corrections, changes to those minutes? If not, Commissioner Drexler. Well, first of all, I'm so eager to say hello to Glenn, but we're all here. I mean, Madam Secretary, Commissioner Correa is here, Commissioner Conaway, myself, and Commissioner Drexler. Commissioner Gray, unfortunately, was unable to be with us today because of conflict in his schedule. He's fine, and he'll be with us next meeting. So let's go back, if we could, to the reading of the meeting minutes. Commissioner Drexler.
Yeah, I move that we approve the meeting minutes from June 7th, 2023, as presented.
Second the motion?
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Consent agenda. Any commissioner wish to have a matter on the consent agenda moved to the regular agenda? Commissioner Conaway.
Move that we adopt the consent agenda as presented.
I second it.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have the regular agenda. Number one is in the matter of the application of Delmarva Power and Light Company for an increase in electric base rates. We have proposed order number 10263, and we have Dawn Kurtz-Crompton with us to lead us off. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Chair Winslow, Commissioners. Dawn Kurtz-Crompton on behalf of Delmarva Power and Light Company. Excuse me. For your consideration today, you have been presented with order number 10263 in docket number 22-0897, which pertains to Delmarva's request for an increase in electric base rates. The proposed order pertains to the motion that Delmarva filed, which seeks approval of the interim rate increase. By way of background, on December 15, 2022, Delmarva filed an application with the Public Service Commission seeking approval of an increase in electric base rates, as well as miscellaneous changes to our electric tariff. In our application, we chose to forego implementing the portion of the proposed rate increase 60 days after the filing of the application, and instead elected to pursue interim rates after 7 months. On May 30th, 2023, Delmarva filed additional supplemental direct testimony and schedules with updates to actual for 9 months of actual data and 3 months of forecasted data, which requested a rate increase of $60,671,518. On June 9, 2023, Delmarva filed a motion requesting approval to implement the rates of $55,546 million. Yeah, I'm not done with okay. $55,546,586. There's a lot of numbers. On an interim basis and subject to refund until the termination of 7 months from the date of the filing of the application. That was all done pursuant to 26 Del C 306B. Today, Delmarva is here to request that the proposed change in rates become effective with usage on or after July 15, 2023 as set forth in our motion and as outlined in proposed order number 10263. We thank staff for reviewing the application and for preparing the staff memo, and we are appreciative that we were given the opportunity to comment. Delmarva is in agreement with the form of order and respectfully requests that the commission enter it today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Geddes?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, you have before you the order as well as the staff memo of July 5th, written by Mr. Baumann, who reviewed the application and found it in order, and pursuant to the statute, staff supports the order. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Iori?
Thank you, Chairman Winslow and Commissioners. The DPA does not oppose the order.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the parties? Commissioner Correa?
I move that we adopt the order number 10263.
I second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposing? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Crompton. Number 2, excuse me, in the matter of the application of Delmarva Power and Light Company for approval of energy efficiency programs for electric customers and recovery model, we have proposed order number 10267, and we have Mr. Jordan to present.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. May it please the Commission. Brian Jordan for Delmarva Power and Light Company. And I'm here before the Commission to request approval of the opening order for Delmarva's second 3-year energy efficiency program. Delaware law requires a utility like Delmarva to propose these EE programs as well as to include a financing mechanism. The application that the company filed with the Commission contains 4 proposed EE programs that are focused on residential electric customers. Of these 4 proposed programs, 2 should be familiar because they were implemented in Delaware's prior 3-year EE cycle. The first one was the Appliance Recycling Program, which removes old appliances from the stream of commerce and recycles them according to EPA guidelines. The second was the Behavioral Program. That provides ratepayers with useful data comparing their energy usage with the energy usage of similarly situated ratepayers. The 2 new proposed EE programs focus on homes. The first one is the Quick Home Energy Checkup Program, which sends a contractor out to the ratepayer's home to conduct an energy audit and to identify and install EE measures. The second one, and the final one, is the Energy Star Program, which is aimed at new residential homes to provide home builders with incentives to construct energy-efficient homes. The projected cost to run the 2023 proposed EE programs is approximately $11.8 million. The Appliance Recycling Program is approximately $1.7 million. The Behavioral Program, approximately $3.1 million. The Quick Home Energy Checkup Program is approximately $3 million. And the Energy Star Program is approximately $3.9 million. These costs do come with energy savings. The projected energy savings for this is 76,198 megawatts per hour. The Appliance Recycling Program is projected to save 2,500 megawatts. The Behavioral Program, 64,000 megawatts. Quick Home Energy Checkup is projected to save 5,000 megawatts, and the Energy Star Program is projected to save up to 3,700 megawatts. One of the other things that is required by Delaware law is that each one of these programs has a total resource cost that's greater than 1.0. All of them do. Appliance recycling is 1.46. The behavioral program is 5.88. The Quick Home Energy Checkup is 2.3. And the total resource cost for the Energy Star program is 1.63. If these programs are implemented on January 1st, the proposed bill impact, or the projected bill impact for each year through 2027 is as follows. 2024, 45 cents. 2025, $1. 2026, $1.07, and 2027, 60 cents. The other part that the application includes is a cost recovery mechanism as required by Delaware law, and which should also be familiar to the Commission because it's the same one that the company had proposed and the Commission approved during the first cycle. If you'll recall, when that was presented, it was based on the cost recovery mechanism that the company had implemented in Maryland. The benefit this year is that it also has the experience of implementing it in Delaware. Finally, I'll note the collaboration that occurred prior to filing this application. I mean, Delaware law requires that the utility collaborate with identified stakeholders, which it did throughout the planning phase. Delmarva also circulated the proposed programs with staff and the DPA. And finally, on June 6th, the company went to the Governor's Energy Efficiency Advisory Council to seek its recommendation prior to filing. The EEAC gave its unanimous approval to the application, and 2 days later, on June 8th, the company filed the application. Based on all of the above, the company is asking that the Commission enter proposed order 10267 to open this docket. And I'll also mention my gratitude to Mr. Geddes for drafting the proposed order and to Ms. Iori for adding her edits to it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Mr. Geddes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. This order, in addition to opening the docket, also provides a forum for public notice, appoints a hearing examiner, and establishes a date for intervention. Staff supports the form of order. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Iori?
Thank you, Chairman Winslow and Commissioners. The DPA does not oppose the order.
Thank you, Ms. Iori. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the parties? Commissioner Drexler?
I move that we adopt order number 10267 as presented.
Second the motion.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? 4-0. The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. We have next the hearing schedule, and there's only one matter on the hearing schedule, and that is Delmarva Power and Light's application for approval of the 2023 program for the procurement of solar renewable energy credits. And we have Ms. Dawn Kurtz-Crompton and team to explain the application.
Good afternoon, Chair Winslow, Commissioners. Thank you again. Dawn Kurtz-Crompton for Delmarva Power and Light Company. With me today, for perhaps the last time appearing in front of this commission, is the inimitable Glenn Moore, our Vice President and Director of External Affairs for Delmarva Power. We wanted to thank the Commission for the opportunity to present our application for the 2023 Solar Renewable Energy Credit, or SREC, procurement program, which was filed by Delmarva on April 11 of this year, based on the recommendations developed and approved by the Renewable Energy Task Force. The 2023 application included a program outline for the 2022 procurement program, a form of the SREC transfer agreement showing proposed changes from the prior agreement. Notice of this hearing was published in the Cape Gazette, Delaware State News, and News Journal on June 20, 2023, and affidavits of publication were provided to the Public Service Commission via Delafile on June 28, 2023. That was for the News Journal and the DSN, and the Cape Gazette was provided on July 11, 2023. Just with respect to some housekeeping, we do have an exhibit log that the parties have prepared, and it includes the pre-filed exhibits for this docket, and that exhibit log was previously circulated amongst the parties. If I may, I would like to represent that the exhibit log has been accepted by all parties and approved, and that staff has advised that they will file that on the docket after this hearing.
Okay, and that's admitted as stipulated exhibits.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I would like to call Glenn Moore as a witness on behalf of Delmarva Power and ask that he please be sworn in.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Can you please state your full name for the record?
Glenn A. Moore,
And Mr. Moore, by whom are you employed?
Delmarva Power.
And can you please explain to the commission what it is that you do for Delmarva Power?
It's a good question. So I'm responsible for external affairs for Delmarva. Yeah. I don't want to write this. So I'm responsible for external affairs. So we are responsible in the face of the company and the community Responsibilities include establishing strong ties with state and local communities, corporate giving, and community involvement. I'm the liaison for the company for all the customer and communities of Delmarva that we serve, and to meet our obligations to provide reliable service.
Great. And how long have you been with the company, Mr. Moore?
38 years.
And as part of your duties and responsibilities, do you serve as Delmarva Power's representative on the Renewable Energy Task Force?
Yes, I do, since the beginning.
And what is the purpose of the Renewable Energy Task Force?
The task force was established by law to make recommendations about the SREC procurement program, which we've now done for almost a decade.
And did you participate to develop the 2023 SREC program?
Yes, I did.
And was a vote taken by the task force in connection with the application?
Yes, it was.
Was a vote taken at a public meeting?
Yes, it was.
Did anyone provide public comments at the public meeting where the vote was taken?
Not at that particular meeting, no.
Did anyone oppose the vote?
No, there were no opposing votes for the vote.
Great. And before we discuss the specifics of the 2023 program, can you give us a little bit of background on the 2022 auction?
So the 2022 auction went kind of as planned and as it's been for the last several years. It was smooth. There was fairly robust bid. We were undersubscribed, which means we would have liked to have given out more RECs than were offered to us. The final pricing came in at $31 per SREC, which is well below, and in some cases significantly below, our other jurisdictions in surrounding states. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Jim Jacoby yesterday. We are now buying spot market SRECs, which are traditionally much cheaper, at almost $40. So these prices are not only good in the region, but they're very good even our own jurisdiction.
Great, thank you. And with respect to the current application, do you know the date on which Delmarva filed it?
April 11th, 2023.
And can you please describe what changed between the 2022 and 2023 programs?
Sure. Samantha will do a better job than I do at this, but I'll give it a go, and then she can clean up my mess. So one of the goals of the process is to try to not make too many changes. You want the folks that are bidding and putting in their SRECs to see some consistency from time to time. So the only real changes we made this time were really two. One is we have discretionary RECs we put into the auction. So one of the tiers, we call it the gamma tier, Delmarva increased from 5,000 to 14,000 SRECs, again, to try to get as many RECs as we can. Last year, we also took the last 10 years of the SREC, and we've been moving it down. We took it all the way down to 0. And Dale Davis, who does a great job representing the SREC community, realized that I think that may have stagnated some of the bids. There was some concern of, I'm not getting anything for the last 15 years. Should I hold them and maybe get a better price? So the group decided to move that back up to a small amount, but to $10. So those were the two real changes that were made to try to stay consistent.
Great, thank you. And how many SRECs does Delmarva propose to acquire through the 2023 auction?
So as long as the prices, we don't use price discretion, at a minimum of 11,000 and a maximum of all the way up to 25,000 if the prices constitute us buying them.
And from what tiers can Delmarva acquire those SRECs?
So again, there's 3 tiers that we had them different names. Now we have them alpha, beta, gamma. So it's 6,000 for the alpha, 5,000 for the beta, and as I've just commented, 14,000 for the gamma, which is the biggest tier. And the way the process works is if the lower tiers are filled, but their prices are still good, they can actually go up and take RECs out of the larger tiers, so we can buy all the way up to 25,000 RECs.
Great, thank you. And other than the changes we have been discussing, are there any provisions of the program that remain the same as the 2022 program?
Most of them do, and that really has to do with if a tier is filled, how can the next tier, buy those? We try to protect, if you will, the smallest residential. But if there's a lot of small residential and that tier is filled, they can actually bid into the higher tiers to keep the prices low.
Thank you. Did any party seek to intervene in this matter?
DENREC filed the petition to intervene on June 20th, and the DPA also filed their statutory notice on May 26th.
Were any comments filed in response to this application?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did staff prepare a memo for the commission concerning this matter?
Yes, they prepared a memo, a very well-done memo, on July 5th, 2023.
And did staff reach any conclusions in its memo?
Yeah, staff memo indicates that staff supports the changes to procurement process set forth by Delmarva's application and recommends Commission approve the application.
Mr. Moore, do you have any other final comments to offer in connection with this application?
My comments say Glenn waxed poetically. I don't know if I can do that or not, but I will say, and I'll comment later today, that this process, in my opinion, has been one of the gold standards. It is a process that's open to all. Commission staff and the advocate play a significant role. They are voting members of the task force. And I think when you look at the other states, and maybe I'm wrong, but if I look at the other states, I think we have a process that gets fair compensation for folks who have solar and keeps the prices for our customers meeting statutory limits of the RPS at lower rates than across all the regions.
Thank you very much. I have no further questions, but Mr. Moore is available for cross-examination.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Moore?
No questions.
No question.
Ms. Pope? Excuse me, my voice is going somewhere.
Good afternoon, Chairman Winslow and Commissioners. Summer Pope on behalf of staff. Staff has one witness, Samantha Kane, and I would ask that she be sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Would you please state your name and address?
My name is Samantha Kane, and my business address is 861 Silver Lake Boulevard, Dover, Delaware, 19904.
Who is your current employer and what is your position?
My current employer is the Delaware Public Service Commission, and my current title is Public Utility Analyst.
What is your educational and professional background?
I have a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Florida, and I've been an analyst with the Commission for 2.5 years.
And what was your role in this proceeding?
I was the case manager for this docket. I reviewed the application for Delmarva's 2023 SREC program, and I attended the Renewable Energy Task Force meetings where the program was discussed.
Can you please describe the purpose and intent of the Delmarva's filing?
On April 11th, 2023, Delmarva filed the application for the approval of the 2023 Program for the Procurement of Solar Renewable Energy Credits, or SRECs for short. The purpose of this filing is to provide Delmarva the opportunity to meet its SREC obligations as defined in Delaware's Renewable Energy Portfolio Standards Act through long-term contracts. The 2023 program is a continuation of the 2012 pilot program through the 2022 procurement program. The 2023 program allows Delmarva to leverage in-state and out-of-state SRECs in an auction format, thereby minimizing program costs and costs to ratepayers. With much uncertainty regarding the future of SREC prices, the 2023 program allows Delmarva to hedge against price increases over the next 25 years.
Besides giving Delmarva the ability to hedge, are there any other benefits associated with the 2023 program?
Yes, the 2023 program also provides homeowners who have elected to purchase solar panels a potential revenue stream to help offset project costs. Similarly, the program extends that same potential revenue stream to larger commercial and utility scale solar systems, both in and out of state. This incentivizes solar adoption.
Delmarva has asked the Commission in prior years to approve SREC programs. How is the 2023 program different from the 2022 program approved by Commission Order 10103?
The primary differences are as follows. The target SREC purchase volume in the Gamma tier increased from 5,000 SRECs to 14,000 SRECs for any system up to 5 megawatts in size. And the price paid per SREC in the last 15 years of contracts will be $10. Previously, these SRECs were paid at $0.
Why were these changes made in the 2023 program?
The rationale for the increase in the number of potential Gamma tier SREC purchases is that it allows Delmarva to mitigate the impacts of future volatility in the SREC spot market, as well as account for the yearly increases of Delaware's Renewable Portfolio Standards solar carve-out. The reason for the increase in the contract price of the last 15 years of contracts is to encourage more robust auction participation and seek to increase overall competitiveness for the 2023 program. The Renewable Energy Task Force believed that the prior $0 price for the last 15 years of contracts may have had a chilling effect on auction participation.
Can you please describe the basic format and details of the auction?
The program has 3 auction tiers: Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. Each tier has its own specific requirements for eligibility. Alpha is for new in-state small and medium-scale systems. Beta is for new in-state large-scale systems. And Gamma is the discretionary tier for out-of-state systems and in-state systems that cannot participate in either Alpha or Beta. For the 2023 program, new systems are defined as having an interconnection approval date on or after October 14th, 2022, which was the date of the last auction. The target quantity of SRECs to be purchased from systems under 2 megawatts remains the same at 11,000, while the total number of SRECs to be purchased is between a minimum of 11,000 to a maximum of 25,000. The long-term contract length remains the same at 25 years.
You mentioned the Renewable Energy Task Force. What is the task force, and what role did the task force play in the development of the 2023 program?
The 2023 program was designed and tweaked over many months by the Renewable Energy Task Force, a group legislatively mandated to make recommendations about the establishment of trading mechanisms and other structures to support the growth of renewable energy markets in Delaware. The task force is made up of cross-functional members that include state agencies, utilities, the Sustainable Energy Utility, and the solar industry. All parties here today, staff, DPA, Delmarva, and DENREC, are active participants on the task force. All task force meetings are conducted in a public forum.
Did the task force recommend the approval of the 2023 program?
Yes, the 2023 program had a supermajority of support from the task force.
Was the public made aware of the filing and given the opportunity to file comments?
Yes, pursuant to Commission Order 10253, Delmarva published public notice of its application, the time, date, and location of the evidentiary hearing on June 20th, 2023, in the classified section of the Cape Gazette, the News Journal, and the Delaware State newspapers. No public comments were received.
What are your recommendations?
Staff supports the approval of Delmarva's application for the 2023 program because it aligns with the Renewable Energy Task Force's recommendation and it complies with Delaware Code, the Commission regulations, prior Commission orders, and all applicable laws. It is for this reason staff respectfully recommends that the Commission approve the 2023 program.
And do you believe that your recommendations are in the public interest and result in rates being just and reasonable?
Yes, I do. I would like to note today that if the 2023 program is not approved, Delmarva would still be required to purchase SRECs pursuant to its RPS obligation. These purchases would have to be made in the SREC spot market, where SREC prices can vary widely month to month.
Does this conclude your testimony?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Kane is available for any cross-examination.
Are there any questions of her?
No questions.
No question.
Thank you, Ms. Pope. Is that the only witness?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Tweedy?
Good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. Jameson Tweedy of the Delaware Department of Justice, representing the Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control. With me today is Brett Swan of DENREC's Division of Climate, Coastal, and Energy, who is available to provide testimony and is available for cross-examination. Could I ask that Mr. Swan be sworn?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Could you please state your name and workplace for the record?
Yes, I'm Brett Swan. I work for DENREC's Division of Climate, Coastal, and Energy, located at 100 West Water Street in Dover.
And what do you do at DENREC?
I'm a Planner 3 specializing in energy policy. I'm a staff lead for the Governor's Energy Advisory Council and staff the Renewable Energy Task Force.
And what are your qualifications to testify on this matter?
I have 5 years of experience in state and local government policy and administration, including 4 years with DENREC, an MPA from the University of Delaware. Specific to the Renewable Energy Task Force, I have staffed the task force since I joined DENREC in 2019.
And what is the purpose of your testimony here today?
I will describe the work of the Renewable Energy Task Force in developing the SREC procurement program and conclude by recommending that the Commission approve Delmarva's application as meeting the requirements and policy objectives of the Renewable Energy Portfolio Standards Act, or REPSA.
And what is the statutory mandate of the Renewable Energy Task Force?
The Renewable Energy Task Force is charged with offering recommendations for the Commission based on the statutory mandates found in Section 360 of REPSA, which includes establishing balanced market mechanisms for REC and SREC trading, meaning meeting the legitimate needs of SREC buyers and sellers, minimizing the cost, an objective addressed in this strategy, establishing revenue certainty for renewable energy, including the use of long-term contracts and auction mechanisms, and ensuring that PV systems of various sizes are financially viable and cost-effective investments in Delaware.
And when you say PV, you mean?
Solar.
Thank you. How has the solar industry in Delaware grown since the inception of the Renewable Energy Task Force?
Solar PV in Delaware has grown from...
Speak up, sir.
Yeah. Solar PV in Delaware has grown from 818 systems totaling 8.8 megawatts at the end of 2010 to 7,924 systems totaling 206.8 megawatts at the end of 2022, according to PSC certification records.
And can you describe the role of the Renewable Energy Task Force in developing the 2023 SREC program?
The task force met 3 times between November 17th, 2022 and January 27th of this year. Right at the outset, we emphasized that we wanted to make minimal changes to the auction structure to maintain consistency and to not significantly delay the next auction. Members acknowledged that we should consider changes that would result in a more robust auction. We worked hard with the SEU, DPA, staff, and all stakeholders to ensure that all pieces work together as smoothly and as efficiently as possible. At the end of the process, the task force approved this SREC plan.
And what has changed from previous auction programs?
This auction features 2 minor changes from the previous auction. First, the discretionary SREC target purchase volume in the gamma tier increases from 5,000 to 14,000 SRECs. Second, the compensation for the final 15 years of each contract increases from $0 to $10. The task force considered reports that bidders avoided the auction because of the $0 provision in the last 15 years. By setting a $10 price for the final years, we expect more bidders, which should lead to more competition, which should lead to a better overall price.
Can you report on how many SRECs are being provided by the pre-buy program?
The SREC pre-buy program has exceeded expectations in the first year. Using yearly averages prior to the start of the program, we expected that the program would generate roughly 6,000 SRECs annually. From June 1st of 2022 to June 1st of 2023, the Green Energy Fund received applications to support 11.8 megawatts of solar capacity. This would generate 18,000 SRECs. It's important to note that we do not think that the program will continue to generate this many SRECs every year due to changing market conditions and changes to grant incentive levels.
Thank you. And could you please summarize your testimony here today?
The task force has crafted a simplified SREC procurement plan through the stakeholder process established by REPSA that builds on the experience of the last 12 years, supports a stable market for systems of all sizes, and balances REPSA's key considerations. DENREC respectfully requests that the Commission take note of this consensus we have forged and approve the 2023 SREC program as consistent with REPSA and in the public interest.
Does that conclude your testimony?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Swan is available for cross-examination or for questions from the Commission.
Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any further testimony by anyone? I thought that our friend from DENREC, Tom Noyes, was he going to talk here or later? Later, okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the parties? Okay, it looks like it's, looks like very happy with the results of the report you all made. You guys did a great job. It's really sort of unbelievable to me that it's been 2.5 years since Ms. Kane has come on board, and now she's an expert. And so it's great to see that development, and it's great to see the fine work that the task force has done and also the parties here. So on behalf of the Commission, my thanks to all of you. Commissioner Drexler.
I move that we approve the program, the 2023 program for the procurement of SRECs.
Second the motion.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you again. We have, next on the calendar, we have public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to make public comment? I don't see anyone coming forward. Next is administrative matters, and I'll turn this over to the director, but with one change. We're going to have the letter A, comments from Glen Moore, Delmarva Power, move to the, I would say, the fourth slot in the batting order. He's going to be the main guy, and then we'll have it, go ahead, Matt.
Okay, so we'll do Glenn last?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Winslow. So I would like to invite Samantha Hajak up to update the commission on the recently concluded legislative session.
You all should have a PowerPoint presentation in front of you. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the monitors working for that today, but hopefully by next meeting. Good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. The first leg of the 152nd General Assembly wrapped up late in the evening of June 30th. PSC staff tracked 13 bills. Of those 13, 11 passed, and 2 will continue making their journey through the legislative process in January. Most important to us was the PSC Omnibus Bill, or Senate Bill 56, which was signed by the governor on June 29th. As you'll probably remember, this bill expands public notice options for the PSC, amends the statute which sets salary of commissioners to provide for salary as appropriated in the annual state operating budget, increases the utility assessment rate, which has not been increased since 2005, and eliminates references to the Water Supply Coordinating Council, which reached its sunset date January 31, 2022. As a side note, the Water Supply Coordinating Council was reconstituted under DENREC in SB 190, which is awaiting the governor's signature. Also related to the PSC, we tracked Senate Bill 54, which has been signed by the governor, and SB 111, which is awaiting the governor's signature. SB 54 extends the effective date of certain provisions of Section 1014 of Title 26 of the Delaware Code for electric utilities regulated by the Public Service Commission. And SB 111 clarifies and confirms that utilities and farm customers may enter into contracts such as power supply agreements that specify how excess kilowatt credits should be applied at the end of an annual billing period. As you may know, the governor and the legislature initiated a climate action package of bills this year. I won't go over all of these individually, but more information can be found in the copy of the PowerPoint I provided you with. All in all, it was a very productive year in the legislature, but I specifically like to thank Senator Hansen for her leadership and collaborative approach to policy change. I think that's all I have, but I'm happy to try and answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much, Sam. That was very nice. Do you think it would be appropriate for us to send an actual physical letter to Senator Hansen to express what you just already expressed to the commissioners? Commissioner Korea, how do you feel about that?
I feel good about it, that we should send a letter to Ms. Hanson, yes.
I think that would,
Anybody?
yeah.
So,
I think that would be appropriate if Matt thinks it would be appropriate.
okay, that's good. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Nicely done.
Next, Chairman Winslow, I did want to update the commission regarding our complaint at FERC regarding the NRG Indian River plant. We did have a settlement conference last week, and I was hoping I could give you a more substantial update, but my only update is that settlement negotiations are ongoing. NRG is going to present a counteroffer in August, and then there's another settlement conference at FERC scheduled in September.
Sam, I forgot to ask you about this one provision relating to my salary. Does that mean I can possibly not get paid next legislative session?
No, you're going to get paid. There was antiquated language in the code, and we removed that because your salary always goes in the state budget, and so we just removed that language because it was outdated.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice try.
Oh, well.
So with that, I would like to invite Mr. Moore back to make some comments.
Welcome, Mr. Moore. Oh, my goodness.
Bring your own cake?
So So no. So thank you. I know this is a little unusual. I know it doesn't happen very often, but I appreciate the opportunity to say some words. I will try to make this brief. I have brought a cake, and it has 2 words on it, which is what I really want to say. But before I get to the 2 words, 3 things. 1, Commissioner Drexler, it's a Cannon's cake.
Oh, my God, my favorite.
It's a chocolate cake with white icing, which happens to be my favorite. I don't know how that happened. 2 is, although some of my peers may be surprised, I bought this cake myself. It will not come before you and on any line item. And I'm also, Commissioner, I'm not trying to gain favor for any future cases, so if you give me that. What I'm here to say and what's on the cake is 2 words. It's thank you. And I have 4 thank yous I'd like to offer if I could, in no particular order. And you can tell how old I am by, most people read it on their iPhones. I write it out, my pen wrote, it's 2 different colors, but I'll read through it. First, I'd like to thank Delmarva Power. I'm extremely lucky to work for a great company whose sole purpose is to serve its customers each and every day. At the heart, the men and women of Delmarva show up every day and come in to do one thing, that's to serve the customers. Although we are far from perfect, as some may around the room attest, day in and day out, we try to provide safe and reliable service for our customers. Whether during floods or storms or paying bills, volunteering, or simply solving a customer's problem, big or small, the company has given me great opportunity to help the customers. And to be honest, it's really reward itself. The coworkers and friends I have been able to work with has been a true blessing. And there's a little secret I'd like to say. I think I've been overpaid for the last 10 years, but I'm not giving any of it back. I will tell you, the company, again, occasionally doesn't do things the way it probably should. But trust me, in the years I've been there, the men and women who come in really are dedicated to provide the service, which is really seen, most importantly, obviously, during storms, but it's day in and day out. The second thank you goes to the public advocate. I've said this publicly before, and I will say it again. We are a better company, and our customers, and when I say our customers, it's all our customers, are better served because of the efforts of the public advocate's office.
Hang on, I need to get my phone out so I can record this.
See, you should have done it earlier.
Don't worry,
Well, that's my next comment. Your role, although underappreciated and probably undercompensated, is vital to the overall care of all of our customers. To Drew, to Ruth, Ann, to Gina, to Andrea, and your staff, you work tirelessly for the interest of our customers, and you should be commended and thanked for your efforts. My third thank you goes to the PSC staff. It's kind of ditto on the first comment. Our customers are better off, and their service is better because of the efforts that you provide in this process. It is a collaborative process between our organizations, and although we obviously have issues here to there, we all are here for the customers. And staff, you play an important and complex role of balancing the customer and the company, and you do an amazing job at that, under very difficult circumstances. To Matt, to Pam, who unfortunately is not here, I would love to talk to Pam, Samantha, Sam, and staff. I have used the word balance a lot in my career, and it's imperative in your role. And you do it with skill, and you should be commended for it. Like you and the public advocate don't get credit for and the just deserves for all of the work you do on the behalf of the customers and the communities we serve. The final thank you. The final thank you goes to Dallas and your fellow commissioners. You get 2 thank yous. First, I want to thank you for the way you treated me and all of the others that come before you. You may not understand, but you do it with dignity, grace, fairness, and kindness. It is truly appreciated when you stand here and talk to the group. Second, a thank you your judgment and wisdom in deciding the difficult and complex cases which have significant impact on the community and the customers and the lives of people in our state. And I want to thank you for that, and you do that again, those decisions with dignity, grace, and fairness. So thank you. The last one, I try not to be too Pollyanna, but it's more of a wish. As I've said before, all of us, and I truly mean all of us, everybody in this room and everybody we support, have a burning desire to serve our customers. I think there's actually a lot more commonality and similarity between us than differences. My wish is we could find time to work together, maybe outside of a rate case, to figure out ways to better serve our customers. I'll give two examples where I think this is shown through. The first is the work that Drew and others did around the Low-Income Energy Efficiency Fund from the merger. Here are some amazing energy efficiency for our low-income customers. And second is the auction itself. I think we've shown that we can work together and provide meeting the law, but not only meeting the law, but really helping our customers transition to a cleaner environment. So whether it's on education or reducing customers' bill, getting better service, I believe we could work together to better serve our customers, and that would be worth coming back for. And my last thank you to everybody. It's been a great ride, and I appreciate the time you've given me. And maybe we won't break bread, but maybe we can break some cake. Thank you very much.
Glenn, thank you so much for those very fine words. I would just say if Harold Gray were here, he'd want to reach out and say thank you on behalf of the city of Wilmington for the LED program that you're so responsible for. Not to mention, storms and floods that have more recently hit the city of Wilmington. Your work on the task force, the Renewable Energy Task Force has been really exemplary. You just did a great job, and I think that you talked about it in the right way. It was very collaborative, and the DPA and staff did a great job as well, which then, amounted to a win-win for the customers, which is what it's all about. So, and then you're a member of the Energy Efficiency Advisory Council, I think, since it probably began. So I don't know how many years back those two organizations go, but I hate to say this, but you're like the grandfather of a couple of those things. Something that people probably around here don't know, I know, you played on the University of Delaware golf team. And of course, I knew that, so that when I went to the Delmarva Power and Light charity golf event, I insisted that Glenn be my partner. So he carried me for 18 holes on a number of years, which was greatly appreciated. So Glenn, you have done an outstanding job for your company, for your customers, for everyone in this room. And we send our heartfelt thanks, and we sincerely appreciate your duty, your work. And I think the commission would like to more sort of permanently say thank you on the record by issuing a tribute to you as Vice President, External Affairs, Delmarva Power, upon your retirement. The commissioners thank him for his 38 years of dedicated service to the Delmarva Power family of companies, serving in corporate planning, gas division, human resources, customer advocate, and finally as Vice President of Internal Affairs, and for his leadership and dedication to the company. And we wish him a long, healthy, and happy retirement. It's signed on behalf of the commission by the commissioners. And I'd like to get a picture of this with all the commissioners and with Mr. Moore, Glenn. But before we do that, if I could, I'd like to open it up and see if anybody else would like to make some comments about this retirement we're seeing. Now, also, I sort of heard something in there like he might think about coming out of retirement too. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anybody else any comments?
We just thank you, and
There's
it's been.
a comment on the phone, if this would be appropriate.
Yes, who's that? Mr. Noyes?
This is
Tom?
Yes.
Please.
Thank you. This is Tom Noyes with Denrec. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'll try not to be long. You mentioned some of the bodies that Mr. Moore has worked on. The first one I remember was the Energy Efficiency Resource Standard Work Group, which was not quite successful and led to the Energy Efficiency Advisory Council. This along with the Renewable Energy Task Force. But for all of the stakeholder processes we've put in place, Glenn has been just a terrific partner. He has consistently been forthright, incisive, thoughtful, and as we all know, concise. Half-hour meetings with Glenn get done in 10 minutes, 10-minute calls get done in 2 minutes. And following his example, I'll just leave it at that and say it's been a great privilege to work with Glenn, and thank you for letting me offer my thoughts this afternoon.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else?
I want to thank you, and I want to say that when you present Delmarva to us, it always gives us a good feeling about the company. Delmarva must have been delighted to have you there representing the company for 38 years, because you always put the company's best foot forward with us and made us proud to be part of the Delmarva customer group in terms of how we stood in relation to other customers of other companies. It always gave me a good feeling, and I think you're a big part of that and really appreciate it. And I hope who's ever taken your place knows how big the shoes are that they're going to have to fill. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Korea.
Glenn, I want to thank you as well. You had mentioned one thing about commissioner being different during the rate cases. And I assure you that will continue to be different in the rate cases, because that is where we look at the customers as well. And I'm sure you appreciate that. Second thing you mentioned, and I saw your socks when I walked in the room, that a lot of things are very well coordinated because of people. The way you are, the way type of the person you are, the type of the commissioners and the chairman and the staff and our public advocates and our advocates are there. It's the people who make the things moving a lot more smoothly. And I assure you also that we all will continue to be like that. So when you go to sleep tonight, sleep well.
And I just want to thank you, Glenn, for your concern for all of the customers of Delmarva.
Thank you, Commissioner.
This is an opportunity for Sam to come forward. And, Glenn, if you'd be kind enough, we can get a picture. Sam, tell us where we should stand or go or be or whatever.
I think you should stand in front of the table, but I don't know
Okay.
if I can tell them that.
If there's,
All
I'll
those
tell you.
blue wires in front just make it not pretty.
Okay.
So, file in, and then I'll file behind you.
One person over here. Yeah, they're not even together.
All right. Take a couple this way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. For a couple weeks anyway. Okay. Thank you, Glenn, and thank you, everyone else. We are adjourned.
Congratulations.
Glenn?